Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sahajam karma kaunteya sadoshamapi na tyajet sarvarambha hi doshena dhumena nidivavataha asakta buddhi sarvatra jitatma vigata spruhaha naishkarme siddhim paramam sannyasena adhigacchati. Once I was traveling from Delhi to Bombay, long time back. That time I was young and very handsome. It's not a joke, it's the truth. So, being a Babaji, we are under always a sandwich situation. I was traveling from Delhi to Bombay. Those days, these Rajdhanis have recently started. And my ticket was booked in the chair car of Rajdhani, 3+2, this way. And my seat that I got was the center seat for between the three in that row. And when I got into the train, on the left side near the window, there was an overflowing Sindhi sitting. It was overflowing. So I had to sit there, somehow or the other. And after some time, the other passenger came to sit. And she was a young girl of maybe about 22, 24 like that. A very smart, educated, beautiful girl. And I was in the center. Now this fellow was pushing me. And if I lean little bit like this, immediately Times of India flashes the news. Isn't it? So whole night it was a kind of a sweet torture. Sweet on the right side, torture on the left side. So, this Hindi gentleman started telling me that after some time, because he was doing with his right hand. With his right hand, he was continuously doing like this. So I was thinking, is he searching for my neck or what? Can you imagine somebody sitting next to you doing like this? What a joy it is for him. So I said, Bhagavad, we have got any problem in the hand. Then he started. And a long story. Then I had a stroke. Then my children told that Bombay climate doesn't suit you, or Delhi climate, you go there. Something like that. That's common stories. In short, the children wanted to get rid of the old man. So they put me in the train, and therefore I'm going. Sir, all. And he said, the doctor told me to keep on doing the exercise. That will protect me from that stroke. Therefore I am doing like this. Sir, all. Now he was helpless because he was flowing out. What can he do now? And then the waiter came, asked for the food, non-vegetarian. But I want a tongue. Tange wala hoga. He wanted a chicken leg. And then he didn't ask me. He knew this fellow is a gas eater. What is there to ask? And the girl, she also wanted leg. That time a thought came in my mind. Can't there be any species of poultry where there are 10 legs? Everybody wants a leg only. And somehow everything was over and the train was. Whole night I was suffering. Morning 4 o'clock, I went for bathroom. Excuse me, and went. Till then, this sweet picture was sitting very serious. And when again I came, excuse me. So she said, by the way, where are you going? I said, I don't go anywhere by the way. I go the right way. You talk sense. I said, then what do you think? Am I a nonsense or what? And slowly, that seriousness dissolved. And then naturally I had to ask what you are doing, what you do. So I just completed my engineering from BITS Pilani. I am going for some interview, for some job in Bombay, and therefore I am going. I am going for the first time. So I said, if you need any help, I can tell you there's something was happening. Then I said, then what you are going to do? What is the dream of your life? What do you want? I have a dream. First, a sweet husband, a nice house on the sea beach, a beautiful car, 2 sweet children, and lot of money. This is what I want. I said, you are dreaming impossible. Everything is impossible. What you are dreaming? First, sweet husband. See, even if with a diabetes, he cannot be sweet, I tell you. And then, a nice house on the sea beach in Bombay, impossible. And then a nice car and 2 good children. This is such an impossible combination that you want to write a kundali where everything you want, your own graha, it will never happen. I said, what for you want all these things? Nothing. I just want happiness in my life. I said, do you want happiness now or later? Now. You want in this situation or after the situation changes? In this situation. Do you want a temporary happiness or a permanent happiness? Permanent happiness. You want a dependent happiness or independent happiness? You want independent happiness. You want happiness after putting efforts or effortless happiness? She said, Swamiji, you are confusing me. I said, I am not confusing you, are self-sufficient. You are already confused. See, all of us, what we want and what we seek is totally different. And this is what here in this 18th chapter the teacher brings this point. That Sahajam karma kaunteya sadosham abhinatyajeta sarvarambhahi doshena dhumena agni iva avrataha. We are placed in the right place by the Lord. Don't think, imagine that changing the places and the situation and the wives and the husbands, you are going to be happy. This has never happened. And therefore, how do we live now in this world? So the first important principle, don't think of imagining that if you change the things around you, you will be well off. Never it has happened. You have to change. Because the problem is ourselves, not the world. Now what is that? The technique is now expounded. Asakta buddhi sarvatra jitatma vigata spruhaha naishkarme siddhim paramam sanyasena adhigacchati. So this naishkarme siddhi means what? Naishkarme siddhi means the story what I told you, that is called a naishkarme siddhi. Independent, permanent, irrespective of the time and the place and without any efforts, natural state of blissful existence. That is called as Naishkarma Siddhi. Struggling and struggling and then getting happiness. What a stupid way of living. So, Naiskarma Siddhi, can there be a way? In Bhagavad Mahapurana, a story comes. Once the king Yadu, he is going somewhere on the banks of Ganges, and below the Himalayan ranges, he sees one Mahatma comfortably lying down, very happy. So the king says, "Sir, you don't have wife, you don't have children, you don't have kingdom, you don't have army, you don't have wealth, you don't have any prosperity, you have nothing. How come you are so happy?" So he said, "Therefore I am happy." We have a wrongly placed identity. Therefore, first, asakta buddhi sarvatra. This is one very simple technique. This technique I told you earlier. Resign your rights on anybody and anything in this world. Live at a zero right level. No right on anybody. When you don't have right on anybody, you have no expectation. When you have no expectation, every gain is a surprise. See? There, you can imagine, when you get your regular salary, that never made any person happy when you get the salary. Because expectations are fulfilled. In the fulfillment of the expectation, there is no happiness. Next, you suddenly get a lottery ticket. May not be in millions, 100 rupees, doesn't matter. What a joy it is. See? See, the other day, somebody came to Lonavala, and I had bought one, sari to be given to that lady. And when I gave that sari to that lady, I say, "Mama, this sari is kept for you. Diwali is coming. Please take this." She took that sari and see, she was so happy. Why? Never expected anything, and you get suddenly. Now, apply this principle in your life. You have learned the secret of scientific existence. Don't expect anything from anybody in the whole world. Every moment will be surprise. You go home, your wife asks for you. "Would you like to have a cup of tea?" Surprise. Happiness. Isn't it? You know, when you give a gift to somebody, normally how the gift is given to the children on their birthday, it is wrapped. And this I learned from a child. Many times, many people give us the gift, I hardly open it, remains there. And if it is eatable, it gets spoiled. So one day somebody gave me, I kept it. And then that girl was very angry. "Swamiji, you don't have manners." I said, "What happened?" You know, when we give the gift, you are supposed to open it. I said, "Okay." And then I opened it. "Oh, very good." Then she told me, the real joy we get when we give you a gift. How you feel when you open the gift, because we know what is inside. So when the child is struggling and opening the gift, and when it gets, the persons who are given the gift, they are constantly looking at the face of the child. So nice. Because it is a surprise. Let every moment of our life be a life of only surprises. And this is possible only when you don't lead a mechanical life. Otherwise, the mechanical life, when it happens, a government job begins. Isn't it? Go to the office, Why? Because at home there is no way to stay. And they destroy the time, the money and everything, and somehow come back. Whole life is so mechanically disgusted existence. Asakta buddhi, sarvatra, then jitatma, the second technique. These are all technical things. Jitatma. We have to very clearly understand that the instrument with which we are functioning, we must know all the functioning of the instrument if we want to bring out the best out of that instrument. Now see, you have seen there are so many instruments in my lab. I am instrumental. Isn't it? Today I received one SMS. A long SMS. SMS के संग्रह का लोभ मत कर वत्स. SMS के संग्रह का लोभ मत कर वत्स. डिलीट कर दे. SMS दूसरे को भेजने में ही स्वर्ग है, स्वर्ग है. स्वामी मैसेज आनंद. So, it's so many instruments that I have. Now, if I know the functioning of every instrument perfectly well and how to utilize each instrument, I will be able to make the best use of these instruments, is it not? In the same manner, if we know the functioning of our mind and the control of our mind, we will be able to utilize this infinite potentiality to the highest. That is called as living scientifically. But we don't utilize that infinite potentiality that the Lord has given us. Because we have never given any attention to this faculty. That control of mind is the highest spiritual practice. And if we can really achieve that, then you will see the sky is the limit. Because the instrument through which you are functioning is the mind. And if that mind is under your control, you can achieve anything that you want in this world. Such people do not become emotional, sentimental, and unwanted devotees of the Lord. You know, many people you must have seen, they are too gaudy. Every day, Bhagwan, Bhagwan, God. And you see their personal life, they are a total failure, utter failure. Please remember, spiritual progress is never possible for those who are failures in life. See, you have to succeed and discard and then go ahead. That is called a spiritual life. It is not when you are unfit for everything, you are fit for becoming a Babaji. Therefore, what is the technique? Jitatma. Our mind has to be under our perfect control. And what is the meaning of keeping the mind under perfect control? It means the mind is available to us whenever we want. If you want to read, the mind is fully available to whatever you are reading. And the moment you develop this faculty, you will never be short of time in your life. Now what happens with us? Why we are short of time? Because the same job we do 10 times. It doesn't go in one stroke. See? Jitatma. Then Vigata Spruhaha. This is another very important faculty. Vigata Spruhaha means never expect the same experience to be repeated in life. In this world, nothing is repeated. And therefore, live every experience fresh and learn from your experiences. You just try this, you must have done also. Suppose sometime you have gone to Goa and oh, so nice, it's a lovely place and all that. And then again you plan. I think next year also we should go there. You go there, it is flat. No joy at all. The reason is you cannot repeat the same experience twice in your life. And therefore, vigata spruhaha. Never struggle this wrong way. To want to repeat the same experience again and again. No. Vigata spruhaha. And then, naishkarmya siddhim paramam sannyasenadi gacchati. And then take to sannyas. Now what is the sannyas? Sannyasa is not the external makeup. Then why you have done? I have heard this question. I don't want you to repeat the mistakes which I have done. You know, the ordinary people learn from the mistakes they make. The extraordinary people learn from the mistake others make. See, a real meaning of sannyasa is Dehanyaso hi sannyasaha naiva kashaya vasasa. The real sannyasa is non-identification with the body. And thereafter, not living as the body, but living through the body. That is called as the meaning of sannyas. See, how long are we going to live as the body? And therefore, unless we have the correct placement of our identity. Now the second meaning of sannyasa. Sannyasa means samyak nyasa. Nyasa means placement. You must have read, on the stones fixed. The Shilanyasa of this building was done by so and so. Shilanyasa means placement of that stone. Sannyasa means perfect placement of our identity as to who am I? Am I the body or the embodied or the one who is expressing through all the bodies? Three options. Sannyasenadi gacchati. Therefore, these are the two aspects of a scientific scheme of living. Keep the matter aspect under your perfect control and live as the consciousness. When these two things are a perfect balance in life, then alone life is lived happily. Then alone the life is a comedy for us. If it is not, it becomes a tragedy for us and comedy for others. Asakta buddhi sarvatra jitatma vigata spruhaha naishkarmya siddhim paramam sannyasenadi gacchati. So what is the paramam naishkarmya siddhi? The ultimate freedom from action. Ultimate freedom from action is this effortless, blissful, independent happiness that you experience in spite of the world around you. Naishkarmya siddhim paramam sannyasenadi gacchati. Now siddhim prapto yathavan brahma tathapnoti nibodhame samaseneva kaunteya nishtha jnanasya para. Now hey kaunteya, hey kunti putra, hey Arjun, I shall now tell you how this Naishkarmya siddhim and the firm abidance in this wisdom can be gained. I shall tell you in short, because this is the 18th chapter and we have to conclude Bhagavad Gita. Don't forget, Bhagavad Gita has to be continued for the whole life. Don't become addicted to Satsanga also. Start living that life. Start living that knowledge in life. Otherwise, we become professional Satsangi. Any Mahatma come, try. So many have come and failed. Nobody could change me. Why? Asangoham, asangoham, asangoham puna puna. No. Therefore, here Bhagwan now gives, in short, the summary of all what we have studied as a scheme of scientific life. First, buddhya vishuddhaya yuktaha dhrutyatmanam niyamya cha shabdadin vishayas tyakva raga dvesho vidhasya cha. The first step, buddhya vishuddhaya yuktaha. When we are functioning in this world, we have to take care of the purity of our intentions and the purity of our mind. Without the pure mind and pure intentions, our perceptions will not be correct. See, yesterday when we were coming from the car, when the AC is on and you get out, immediately, there is a fog on your glasses. So when you are coming, so Shyam also has got, so he was cleaning. Swamiji, shall you clean that? I said, no. Why? I said, I don't have to see anything. I had to clean. It is okay. Now, if I cannot see properly, I will interact wrongly. And when I interact in a wrong way, I cannot gather the correct experiences from the life. When I don't gather correct experiences from the life is a mess. And then the statements like, the world is too much for me. But why me? Why not? You are the suitable person for all the miseries. See, these all statements are born only because our perception was not corrected. Remember, long time back I told you, the wisdom which is overflowing on the backs of the trucks. One thing I extremely like, one particular thing. बुरी नजर वाले अपनी नजर टेस्ट करा रहे, मुंह भी काला नहीं. In this world, what is required is, we have to rectify our focal length. When you rectify your focal length, your perception will be beautiful. Therefore, asakta buddhi, buddhya vishuddhaya yuktaha. Clean your instrument of perception. Then dhrutya, the second important thing. What our Sai Baba says, Shraddha and Saburi. Dhruti means Saburi. Saburi means patience. You must have seen, the more prosperous a people is, the less patience they have. Because prosperity takes away the patience. Like, earlier we all know, the letters will be posted and then they'll go, and after 4 or 5 days you used to get message and all that. Now they want the message to come by the email, click instantaneously. And if their email is not replied, immediately go to phone. Swamiji, I have sent you email, why don't you reply? Okay, I'll do that. And I never do that. If it is one you can reply, if there are 600 sitting over there, I open it, take the 600 pending, I do namaskar. Therefore, second is dhruti. Dhruti is the ability to continue to live in this scientific manner without giving up. Dhrutya atmanam. Then niyamya. And by that, we have to have a perfect self-control. See, perfect self-control cannot be a bondage if we have accepted ourselves. This is another basic principle. Discipline imposed from outside is a burden. Discipline self-accepted is a freedom. See? Now here all of you are coming. Now, out of all of you, those who have come on their own and sitting here for 75 minutes, it is a freedom. And those who are pulled, you also come now one day at least. Come now, come now. Okay. Now, you know, that time is, I think it is band ho gayi. Because it is imposed from outside, it becomes a burden. Therefore, here, dhrutyatmanam niyamyacha, then shabdadin vishayan tyaktva, another thing. Please remember, in this world, we have to discover independence. Independence is the another name of happiness. Mahabharatkar says, Sarvam paravasham dukkham, Sarvam atmavasham sukham, Etad vidyat samasena lakshanam sukha dukkhayoho. These are the simple statements that dependence is misery. And therefore, on what we are dependent? We are dependent on the worldly objects, worldly people, situation, governments, friends, and our people around. The more we are dependent, the more we are miserable. And where from we start this independence? Shabdadin vishayan tyaktva. See, in my itinerary, I had printed the happy tips. And in the happy tips, one of the things is live simple. The simpler is our life, the happier we are. It's very, very simple to practice in life. And how we can do it? Lesser dependence on the worldly things. Shabdadin vishayas tyaktva, then raga dvesho vidasya. Now this was external adjustment, now go inside. Raga dvesho vidasya. This is another important principle. If we are functioning in this world in such a manner that we are creating the likes and the dislikes with every interaction, we are going the wrong way. Please be very attentive. Every experience of our life is a divine experience if we learn. Every experience of our life is a tragic existence if we don't learn. Now see, when we learn, we gather wisdom. Wisdom does not create a dent on the mind. And therefore, wise people are happy people. On the contrary, if any experience creates a dent on the mind in the form of likes and dislikes, a deep impression, a wound is formed, and that wound starts bleeding in our subsequent activities. Therefore, as our life grows, we have to be very careful. Are we gathering the likes and dislikes as deep wounds in our mind, or from every experience we grow on learning? Friends, there cannot be more scientific approach to life than this. Learn from your own experiences. Don't run after any guru. That is the worst thing that should happen in one's life. Don't run anywhere. If we cannot learn from our own experiences, do you think we can learn from the experience of the guru? See? Therefore, it is extremely simple technique. When you learn, you don't create likes and dislikes. This example I gave you earlier, very simple example. When we burn our hand in the childhood because of the fire, we have learned that when you touch the fire, you get the burning sensation. Thereafter, We have no hatred for the fire, no liking for the fire. Then we utilize that fire with the same burning capacity to our benefit. See how important it is. Therefore, when we learn, we do not gather likes and dislikes. This is the secret that wise people live in this world. What is the reason? How can the wise people do not carry hatred or attachment for anything or anybody in this world? Because they learn. From whom? Not from the world. From your own experiences. Now, after having told this, Vivikta Sevi Lakbhashi, now you come to your personal life. This was the life that you are living in the society. Now the personal life starts. Vivikta Sevi Lakbhashi Yatavakkaya Manasaha Dhyana Yoga Paro Nityam Vairagyam Samupashritaha. I shall tell you in detail, very deep, be extremely attentive. This is the topic which many people are excited and remain only excited. But this is a cool topic, not excited topic. First, Vivikta Sevi. We have to learn to remain in solitude without getting a sense of loneliness. Vivikta Sevi. And that time, don't have the mobile or the newspaper or the TV or the landline or the books or the study. Nothing around you. Just give it a try. Start from, let us take half an hour per day. That time don't sleep also. When you are fresh, if it is not possible to keep everything away, put exclusive darkness around you. Switch off everything. And just sit and keep your eyes open. Don't close your eyes. In that pitch darkness, don't sleep. Then you will start getting the glimpses of the divinity. Vivikta Sevi. You know what happens? Be very attentive. Our eyes, when they are open, our eyes can function in the medium of colors and forms which are bathing in the light. When there is pitch darkness, our eyes cannot function, but the vision is there. Now what is happening? Now, there is a vision, but there is no seer and there is no seeing. So the duality has disappeared. That is the experience where the knower known duality has disappeared. And try to extend it as long as you can. That means not postpone it. There is a difference between extension and postponement. So, Vivikta Sevi, then you will come to know how much our mind is a poultry farm. We are not a person, we are a crowd, non-stop chattering going on. And this spiritual practice, you don't require anything outside. See? No special thing. Otherwise, a very big altar, and then the flowers, and then agarbatti, and aarti, and nothing of this sort. Sit wherever you are. Just switch off everything. In that pitch darkness, Vivikta Sevi. Then, to practice this, there is additional requirement. What is that? Lakbhashi. Learn to eat a little. Not eating up to the nose and sit for meditation, and then physiological There are many ohms, you know. One is electronic ohm. When you know this my ohm. So this will be a physiological. No. Eat and always keep hunger alive. Never eat to the satisfaction. This will not allow you to feel sleepy when you sit for dhyan. Lagvashi. And it is only by habit we have developed that we eat more or we eat less. That's it. Nothing else. Vivikta Sevi, Lagvashi. By this, you will not have sitting problem as well as sleeping problem. Then Yatavakkaya Manasaha. The next step. We have to learn to sit, not sleep, in one posture, happy. Don't sit in a Padmasana and then after 2 minutes start cursing Patanjali Maharshi. Don't do that. And for your information, Patanjali Maharshi has never told about Padmasana. The definition of asana given by Patanjali Maharshi is Sthira Sukham Asanam. This is the sutra. Sthira Sukham Asana means you sit in such a manner that your Sukham is Sthira, not Asanam. You don't get disturbed every now and then. So, Yatavakkaya Manasaha. Sit in whichever posture you can comfortably. Lesser the support you take, alert you remain. This is the simple technique. You know, suppose you are standing on 2 legs, less alert. Suppose you are standing on 2 legs and leaning on a parapet wall, still less alert. And if you are standing on 1 leg, see how much alert you will be. So, lesser the surface area supporting a structure, more balance is required. And therefore, when we sit for dhyan, we should take only the support from the below. No support from the back as I am sitting now. In this, the weight goes on the back. And you see the surface area. Maximum surface area is exposed to the support. Therefore, when you sit for the dhanabhyas, let there be only the support from the bottom, no support from the back side, and then you will see, you will remain in a perfect balance. And when you are able to maintain your balance scientifically, you are bound to be alert and vigilant. You will not feel sleep. Yatavakkaya Manasaha. Now, second is vak, the speech. When we are living in this world, we have to have a tremendous control over our speech. And that tremendous control over our speech can be practiced while on the seat of meditation by engaging the speech at the subtle level by chanting the Lord's name. Now, what is the meaning of chanting the Lord's name? Every religion talks about a rosary and a name. Now, let us understand what it means. You know, our mind exists as unmanifest, just manifesting, subtle manifest, and gross manifest at 4 levels. Now, what I am talking to you is the gross manifestation of the mind. And this gross manifestation of the mind, if that is controlled, then we can go at the subtler level. And therefore, to control our Vaikharivadi technical word, the technique is go on chanting the Lord's name. Many times when people start, initially, you have to learn to chant loudly. So sit in a corner, don't take a mic and a loudspeaker, and chant the Lord's name, whatever you have to take. Hari Om, Sri Ram, Sri Ram. When you do this slowly, a rhythm is set in our total personality. And you know, when we were in the womb of our mother, the first experience that the child has is the experience of the rhythm of the heartbeat of the mother. And therefore, this rhythm becomes the most known experience for every one of us. And that is why when the children are to be put to sleep, what the mothers do, they put and they go on banging. The child feels better to go to sleep than to have this wild love expression. Now this rhythm is set. And when the rhythm is set, all our unwanted aberrations of thoughts are automatically controlled. And you just try this. Chant, let us say, 3 times and then keep quiet. Don't do that time, which is done professionally. Ram 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 Ram. Sabji ko tadka lagaya kya? Ram 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 Ram. Doodh, Ram 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 Ram. That is a nuisance to Ram. It's not that. So, you do it very slow. There is no hurry. Please remember, spiritual practice is never done in a hurry. Go steady, there is no hurry. So, our attempt is to control the tongue, the mind ultimately. So, when you start, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Now, when we thus slowly chant with the Vaikhari Vani, be careful that no dissimilar thought intercepts in between. When you become a master in this, then add. Then make it 5 times. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. And followed by a long silence. When you do this consciously, a stage comes in your mind when your mind will stop talking to yourself. Do you know, one of the most torturous problems that the whole humanity suffers from is uncontrolled blabbering with oneself. We go on talking to ourselves. We go on talking to ourselves. And when we go on talking to ourselves, and when our talking to ourselves is heard by others, then we are called as mad. That's it. That's why it is called as one is sentimental, the other is mental. The sentimental people are of earlier condition leading to the mental state. Therefore, try this. Yatavakkaya, then manasaha. And when you slowly stop, there is unwanted. This is called technically as manorajya. Manorajya is habitual thinking. We go on thinking for no reason. And if you just analyze what you have thought, you yourself feel ashamed. I don't know why nonsense I am thinking. Therefore, yatavakkaya manasaha, and then dhyana yoga paro nityam, and then we can become qualified for meditation. So unless our external life is a controlled experience, meditation will be a torture. It is a torture all the time. You suffer on the seat of meditation. Then dhyana yoga paro nityam. Now what is the meaning of dhyana yoga? Here I'll give you, yesterday I mentioned, again I'll mention today. Dhyana yoga is not concentrating on anything in this world. One person asked me, he says, Swamiji, I am a Jain and our munis come and they tell, Atma Chintan Karo. But they never tell us what is Atma Chintan. And you are also telling Atma Chintan, but what is that Atma Chintan? I said, you can understand it two ways. One way, when you suspend Anatma Chintan, what happens is Atma Chintan. See? Atma is not an object of contemplation. The self is a matter of awareness. Dhyana yoga paro. Don't become too much concentrated, that now, understood. Read Kenopanishad. There the teacher tells the student, Anyadeva tad viditat atha aviditat adhi. The truth is other than the known and unknown. And after that the teacher gives a lot of exercise. Then the second chapter begins. And the student says, Sir, thank you so much. I have understood everything. If it is a material science, the teacher will feel very happy. But here in the spiritual science, when the student says, Sir, I have understood very well, the teacher bombards him with a ridicule. Yadi manyase suvedeti dabhramevapi nunam tvam vetha brahmano rupam. If you think you have understood nothing. Because the truth is not to be understood. Understanding takes place through the intellect as a concept. Reality is not a concept. See, if you study Patanjali Yoga Darshan, Kaivalya is only for the Prakriti, not for the Purusha. If you study the Buddhist philosophy, all the attack is only on the mind. They will be talking about the Sampradnyat Samadhi, then Asampradnyat Samadhi, Asampradnyat Yoga, or the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. All of these are dealing only with the Upadhi of the mind. Nobody touches the consciousness. Therefore, Dhyana Yoga Paro, this has got these two aspects. One aspect is the matter aspect, second aspect is the consciousness aspect. Now with the matter aspect, there are two things to be done. One is understand the functioning of matter and then have control over the functioning of matter. Without understanding matter, we cannot control the matter. And then the second thing is recognition of the consciousness. And the recognition of the consciousness is called as being aware of oneself. Now do this experiment. You look at this book and there is this logo, Mauj Mein Raho. Now some of you may be able to read it. Distant you may not be able to read. So focus, concentrate your attention on this logo. Now, this is your one experience. Now second, be aware about your own being. Now see the difference in your experience. It cannot be told. See, concentration is always about the not self. About the self, there is only awareness. The more we remain aware, the more we are living the scientific way. Most of us are only sleeping. See, the other day I was reading Osho, one book on awareness, very beautiful book. There he writes that we hardly are awake. We are all the time only in sleep. Like, if somebody is, a night sleepwalker, or there are people who talk in the sleep. So when somebody talks in the sleep, do we give any importance to them? So from that sleepy, talky fellow, with that comparison, we are wise. Isn't it? Don't stop there. When we talk all nonsense, wise people look at us. They say, sleeping. It's okay. He is not awakening. Awakening is only when we start living as awareness, without any concentration. Dhyana yoga paro nityam. And this can happen nityam all the time, only in awareness. In matter it cannot happen nityam, because the matter itself is anitya. Dhyana yoga paro nityam, vairagyam samupashritaha. And to practice this, the wealth of a real seeker is the wealth of dispassion. The more dispassionate you are, the more aware you remain. The more we are attracted toward the world, the more materialist we will become. Dhyana yoga paro nityam, vairagyam samupashritaha. Now, coming to the next step, ahankaram balam darpam kamam krodham parigraham vimuchan nirmamaha shantaha brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Now, when this kind of dhyana-bas meditation, we continue on a regular basis. Please remember, regularity is the secret of spiritual progress. You cannot take the tonic in one go. I want to take the tonic. Why? Every day take 1 teaspoonful. Take the whole bottle one way. So 1 month we did not take. It is not a homeopathic dose. Tonic you have to take every day at a particular time, a particular dose. In the same manner. Our dhyana-abhyas, our self-discipline must not be a kind of hysteric attack at a particular time, but it has to be perpetually, regularly done. Now after this is done, then ahankaram balam darpam kamam krodham parigraham vimuccha, giving up these negative traits. First is ahankaram. Do you know, the real ahankar is the ahankar of renunciation. See, it is better to be married, to have all the problems and create problems and live happily problematically. Better than living in that, I don't get married, I am not like that, I don't have anything, and I don't know, I. It becomes such a strong I that I becomes a problem. Therefore, ahankaram vimuccha, giving up this arrogance of doership. Then balam, bala is the divine power supported by the arrogance of our planning is called as balam. I have decided to do this way, I have planned this way. We have seen already in the 17th and 16th chapter, where I have done this thing, now I have to kill that enemy, now I have to build up that institution, now I have to do this thing, I have to raise the funds. This is the balam, the strength. Then darpa is the overestimation of one's abilities made public is called as darpa. Darpa, then kamam, a lot of desire, krodha associated with the kama, parigraha, accumulation of the things and the beings, vimucha. Slowly, we have to learn one very important principle. Now this principle I will tell you. Before the world has to tell us, get out, we should have the wisdom to understand that we get out of our own choice. Before somebody has to tell us, Swamiji, the time is getting over, will you please shut up? Before that, if the Swami is little wise, he should shut up his mouth. See? Many a times, we don't understand whether we are required or not required. Whether we should talk or we should not talk. Whether we should get involved or we should not get involved. When are we going to learn? Therefore, parigraham vimuccha. Don't hang on and hold on to anything in this world. Then alone you will be really fit to enter the kingdom of the divinity. Therefore, parigraham vimuccha, then nirmamaha. What happens, we do the external things we may give up. What are the external things? Now, I have withdrawn from the business, I don't go to the work now, and now I don't get involved with anything. Now my only interest is my grandchildren. And it is enough to destroy yourself. How long the same thing again and again. Really nirmama, really freedom from mamata is freedom from attachment to your relations. See, I tell you something from Garud Puran. In Garud Puran it is said, those people who are too much attached to their own children and the grandchildren, and in that extreme attachment they die, they are born in the same family again, and the same tamaku and the same tuna. No way. How long are we continue to do the same thing? Nirmama. Get out of these unwanted relations in this world. Then shantaha. Then you will understand the real meaning of shanti. Otherwise, we get too much attached. We may give up the things. You may give up the wife. You may give up the husband. But then your children, your grandchildren, and then get caught up in that. Vimuccha nirmamaha shantaha. Now, Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Now his passport is stamped. Visa granted. Now you can enter that country. Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. And Brahma bhuta prasannatma na shochati na kankshati samaha sarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labhate param. Now see the best verse in the whole Bhagavad Gita. Brahma bhutaha. We are Brahma bhutaha. Brahma bhutaha. He who has expanded by crossing the barriers of all limitations is Brahma bhutaha. No more dying in a cocoon of self-created imprisonment of relative existence. See, Brahma bhutaha. Now what are the signs? The first sign is Prasannatma. I don't know if I told you, I was in Washington DC this summer, August I think. And they have interviewed me for a TV. About half an hour interview. And the person who interviewed, he had been doing this job for last 30 years. A Sindhi gentleman, naturalized American by citizen, as a citizen, and a very lively person. So with the necktie and all that, because he has to appear. And I had a very hectic day that day. And from somewhere we came. I was yawning. I said, hey, give me a cup of tea. So we had a cup of tea. And then he said, I will brief you what are the questions that I am going to ask you, and you can prepare meanwhile what replies you are going to give you. Then it will be recorded and it will be telecast. I said, look here, I have never replied the same question twice. Only once. If you give me this question, you cannot ask again. No, I was just wanting you to prepare. I said, better you prepare. And then we went, and the cameras fixed everything. And then he started asking questions. After 5 minutes or so, he said, I have never become nervous before anybody in my whole life. I have interviewed many big politicians coming from India, everything. But I don't know what is happening. I am unable to be myself. I said, take it coolly, have a glass of water, take Limca. He'll be all right, don't worry, I am not going to confuse you. He said, no, your every answer is making me clean bold, I don't know what I should do. And slowly the interview was over. And I said, now will you please listen to me, I answered all your questions, one question or request from me. What is that? We'll conclude this interview by saying, therefore, dear listeners, be happy. He said, agreed. And his wife was also there. So we stood in our chairs and the camera facing that. Now be happy. So I did like this, he did like, be happy. His wife said, now I understand the difference between you and Swamiji. So he said, what happened? He said, when Swamiji said, be happy, his hands were open. He said, be happy. And when you said, be happy, is it happiness? It's a tension. It's not happiness. See? Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. The one who is nearest to the divinity is ever cheerful. Prasannatma. And that Prasannatma doesn't mean, like, many people have this funny notion. The other day somebody came to Kaivalya. And there I was teaching to my students Mandukya Upanishad with the Shankar Bhashya and this Gaudapada's Karika. And there it's a very tough subject. All the different philosophies, the Buddhist philosophy, the Jain philosophy, and then the Dvaita philosophy, all of them are been this Naiyayikas, Vaisheshikas, and then the Yoga philosophy, Sankhya philosophy, all those intricacies I was explaining to the students. And the floating population, one of them came, Swamiji, you are all right? I said, I am all right. No, you are not the same one. What you are on the TV is different. And what you are here is totally different. What you are teaching, we are not understanding anything. I said, look here, you are sitting in a class for what you are not layak. Here I am not teaching to those who have come for a time pass. Here they are studying the scriptures, so there has to be a depth. Unless you have the depth of wisdom, there cannot be an expression of wit and humor. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. Otherwise it will become like jokes on the roadside shows. No, that is not that. Prasannatma means discovery of total freedom, independence of the highest order. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. As a result, what happens? Na shochati. How can we be happy? And if we are happy, what does it mean? First, na shochati. The total load of the past is deleted. Na kankshati. The total load of the future is not entertained. What is the result? You are in the absolute present. The one who lives only in the present, he alone can know the meaning of the presence. Presence with the past and the future tenses is the present tenser. Such people live only in tensions. Those who are living in tenses. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati. Because he is all the time, every moment in the immediate present. And as a result, what happens? That samaha sarveshu bhuteshu. Then equanimity becomes the natural expression of his life. See? And when we can function in this world with equanimity, then alone there are no regrets on your mind. This is the sign of equanimity. You don't have to justify anything to anybody in the whole universe, including God. No justification. If you are functioning from the platform of equanimity, normally what happens? Actually, I was coming, but what happened? We didn't ask. See? Our own mind is biting us, and therefore we go and justify. If you are functioning from the equanimity point of view, you will never feel any regrets or any guilt or any need to justify your life. Therefore, samaha sarveshu bhuteshu mat bhaktim labhate param. And as a result, he is able to love the whole world without any efforts. Such a master, he rises in love. We fall in love. Whenever we have fallen in love, we are the victims of matter. When we rise in love, then only we have lived scientifically. Love is a force which is anti-gravitational. It doesn't gravitate you to the dirty matter which is constantly putrefying. And if we do not grow in love, it is no life at all. In one of my management seminars, I was conducting one experiment. Our lunch break, everything was over. Again, we gathered for the workshop. So all of them came, about 20, 25 of them. I said, hey, we'll be playing a game. So please stand all around in this way. So they stood. I said, one of you, please lie down. One of them lie down. I said, you imagine that you are dead. And we all also imagine that you are dead. But you have the faculty that you can hear us. Now, we just observe 2 minute silence. And you are dead, but you are observing also that nobody is talking. And then slowly, some of us start talking about you, the dead one. Now, what is that you want to hear from the world about you? This was the experiment. What you want to hear about you when you die from the world? And 3-4 of them I said, don't tell now, simply lie down and just think what you want to hear about you. And after that over, I said, now let us go and sit in our places, had a cup of tea, and now the first dead man will talk. And when the first dead man was talking, we have thrown the other dead people out. I said, hey, other dead people go out. So they went out. The first dead man, he spoke. Second spoke. Third spoke. And all of them wanted to hear the similar kind of thoughts. And what were those thoughts? That he is a very nice person. He was a loving person. He has never hurt anybody. He has been a helping hand. He was a decent human being. Nobody said that I want to hear, I am a rich person, I was a very big, weightlifter, and I have run so much of runs in my school days. No. See, this is the basic understanding of the total human mind. See, that is called as the real fulfillment of life. And this real fulfillment of life is discovered under only 2 conditions. One, when we are able to love the whole world as it is, and when the whole world loves us, including wife. See, to love and to be loved is the fulfillment of human existence. Now, more than that, there cannot be any scientific love. Scientific love is not first match the blood groups. No, it is not a bloody love. It is a divine love. Brahma bhuta prasannatma na shochati na kankshati samas sarveshu bhuteshu mat bhaktim labhate param. And when we have discovered this new area of experience in our life, then what happens? Tomorrow's episode. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.